Chapter 48, Chapter 11. Skeleton King charged towards Zeal while swinging his big axe. When the axe almost hit him, Zeal dodged it with minimal movement and cut off the Skeleton King's hand, which was only a bone. Even though his hand was cut off, the Skeleton King punched Zeal with his other hand. This time Zeal didn't dodge it. He swung his great sword, which he had compressed with mana and aura, towards the Skeleton King's fist. Zeal's sword and the Skeleton King's fist collided and generated a shockwave in the surroundings. Boom. Crack. Small cracks formed in the Skeleton King's hand. Then his hand shattered into pieces. Zeal swung his sword against and slashed it apart. The Skeleton King's upper and lower body were split apart by him. Zeal knew that it wasn't over yet. The Skeleton King's separated body suddenly returned to one, as well as his severed and shattered hands back to its original state. Skeleton King won't lose with just an attack like that, even if you cut him into small little pieces. He won't die. The evil spirits who saw it laughed and sneered at Zeal. I know, if it goes on like this, it's going to take a lot of time. It'll be morning soon, so ain't you guys together? Zeal compressed his aura and mana into the sword. The sword was red from the heat, and there were more cracks than before due to excessive compression. A thick blade aura with grey colors was created. What? Skeleton King quickly retreated. The evil spirit felt terror from the power emitted by the sword that Zeal was holding. He and the Skeleton King immediately made a stacked barrier to block Zeal's attack, because he felt that they would not have time to dodge it. Zeal raised his sword, but the sword shattered into pieces as it could no longer withstand the compression of his mana and aura. Even so, the blade's aura is still there. He swung his shattered sword towards the evil spirit, and the blade aura was slashed out with incredible speed. The blade aura and evil spirit's barrier collided. Orban slash. Crack. The barrier couldn't even last 1 second. The evil spirits in Skeleton King, who were silent in shock, were hit by a heavy attack from the aura blade. Boom. The place that was like a throne room shook violently from Zeal's attack. A large path of scars was engraved into the ground along the room until it penetrated the cave wall, as if the cave is divided into 2 parts, separated by a small raven. The existence of the evil spirits and the Skeleton King vanished without a trace, being swallowed by the hour blade. Currently, Zeal silently looked at the hole in the cave wall. Due to his slash, he lowered his eyes at the room behind the cave wall. He walked into the room, and suddenly he stopped after seeing what was there. The room was very spacious, and there were many large tubes filled with liquid lined up. The number may reach hundreds or even thousands, and in each of those tubes there were humans. No, maybe they wouldn't be called humans anymore. They are more appropriate called human chimeras. Their circumstances are different. Some have their body parts exchanged for beasts. Some have their body transformed into becoming strange creatures after being injured with beast DNA or other races, and some have become monsters, so it can be recognized whether they're human or those other races. Because apart from humans, Zeal can see some elves, dwarves, and demons are also in the tube, having the same fate. It turns out that this organization also had something to do with the fallen gods. What exactly are they planning? Zeal was suspicious of what the fallen gods were doing, because as far as he knew, in this era, the fallen gods never showed themselves, and even their existence could be called a myth. Zeal could see that several people in the tube looked at Zeal and saying something. One of them was a little girl with short red hair and big brown eyes who looked very cute, but his lower body was no longer a human, but a spider. Zeal couldn't hear her. We could tell what she was saying from the movement of her lips. Please, kill me. He understood why they said that. When their bodies and minds that are no longer human, they are no longer themselves, when they have become the objects of an experiment by inhuman people, the pain they feel is not only their physical, but also in their minds. Zeal didn't feel sorry or sad seeing their plight, or he was angry because they were treated cruelly and unfairly. Currently, Zeal is no longer a hero, and will never be like that again. But this time, he will grant the wishes of the people in front of him. I will grant you your wish. Then think of it as fate, because you and I meet. Although I don't believe it, Zeal mumbled softly. That 9 magic seal formed on his body. The magic seal is a mutation of the combined magic circles, an aura seal that Zeal released when he first stabilized the seal. 2 dragons circling the magic circles appeared on his body. Outside of the cave, the previous bright and starry weather suddenly turned into a thunderstorm. Maybe no one pays much attention to it because Zeal keeps change to nature phenomenon to a minimum. Only nearby residents could notice it. Sign explosions. There was a deep voice from Zeal. Thousands of magic circles were created instantly, and each tube had one magic circle. One its grey light shot out of the magic circle and enveloped the tube. Before the tube was completely enveloped by the grey light, Zeal saw the little girl in the tube who had previously asked him for help. At this moment, she smiled sweetly, and from the movement of her lips, Zeal could tell what she was saying. "Thank you." An incredible sight could be seen when the entire magic circle activated. Simultaneously, after the grey light disappeared, all the tube in the room disappeared as well, not shattered or turned into dust, but Zeal completely erased the existence of the entire tube and the experimental objects in it. Zeal silently looked at the currently empty room. He didn't know why tears were running down his cheeks. He took off his mask and wiped his tears. Why am I shedding a tear? Zeal is confused because he shouldn't be able to feel anything due to Azil's curse. But right now he was shedding tears because of the event in front of him. Is it possible? Zeal suddenly thought of a possibility, but he immediately shook his head and pushed the thought away. Even if it was possible, it won't be that easy. He then walked out of the cave and disappeared into the depth of the forest. Not long after Zeal's disappearance, dance of Nego Kingdom soldier came to fort. They were led by a middle-aged man with a bald head and beard. He wore black armor and carried a large sword and shield on his back. He was Agil Walder, the general of the current Nigel Kingdom. His strength was at the level of a sword king, and was on par with General Farald Walmont of the Argent Kingdom. Suddenly, General Agil and his soldiers are in front of the cave where Collian is hiding. King Jonathan received reports of a sudden thunderstorm in the forest near the border with an Alba mountain range. He was currently preparing to hold a virtual meeting with the other 4 kings. That's why he sent General Agil to check it out. This is where the previous thunderstorm occurred. But what is this? Cave? Was there a cave before? General Agil was suspicious of the cave in front of him. Check what's inside. General Agil ordered his soldiers to enter the cave, and he followed them from behind. After checking for more than 15 minutes, a soldier ran to General Agil in a hurry. "General, I found a room that looked like there had been battles before." The soldier immediately reported to General Agil. "What? Take me there." The soldier ran to where Zeal and Collian previously fought. When General Agil came in and saw the condition of the room, he was astonished. He was sweating from his forehead. He saw the path of a large scar on the ground through to the cave wall. He knew very well that it was a slashing mark of a sword with extraordinary power. What kind of battle was happening here? General Agil muttered in a slightly trembled voice. Then he saw a hole in the wall of a cave. There he saw another room that looked very spacious. He immediately ran over to check it out, but what he saw was an empty, airy space. Now, if this space was hidden, there must have been something important beforehand. I must report this to His Majesty immediately. He gathered all the soldiers he brought with him. Some soldiers were be on guard here. Keep on searching. If you find any clues, report it to me later. I will return to the castle first to report this matter to the Majesty. General Argyle divided the duties to the soldiers. Yes, General. After hearing the answers of the soldiers, General Argyle left the place and headed towards the Nigel Kingdom castle at full speed.